we did request all reports / documents pertaining to the transport of federal detainee Cheng to and from Governor Benigno Arfitio's residence. And if you look at that, the Commissioner has numbered all of the attachment to correspond with our request. And our request is on number 5, but when you go to number 5, there is no report or documents that was provided to this body. So I think we should note that, and perhaps we can maybe request such a copy of that report. Do you think, Council, you can assist this committee by maybe trying to procure a copy of that report and providing it to this committee?
I'll follow up with this and see if that report is still in existence.
I appreciate that. Members, you may continue. Representative De La Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It appears that the request for subpoena duces tecum requested from the Commissioner of Corrections presently, Mr. Ramon C. Mofnas. The committee has received some of the information, such as the agreement between the U.S. DOJ, United Marshal Services, and the CNMI DOC. It's quite disturbing, to say the least, that the Department of Corrections log entries with regards to a federal detainee, Ms. Cheng, the logbook for booking is noted as missing and that it cannot be located. Also quite disturbing is the fact that this body had requested for the surveillance videos during the time of federal detainee Cheng was brought out from DOC and then brought back again into DOC, stating that the DOC's recording devices are not operational. This is quite disturbing. Sergeant Seman, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
And thank you for coming today. Through your recollection of the certain event that had transpired with regards to this particular federal detainee, did you recall if logs were in place at the time?
Yes.
Did you also recall if surveillance videos, and not only surveillance videos, were operating at the time, but the recording devices were also recording at the time?
There's surveillance cameras, but the recording device is not in operation.
Okay. Prior to the detainment of Ms. Cheng, do you recall if such a device was recording surveillance activities? In other words, has this recording device ever working after being installed at DOC at the new facility?
Sir, when I was still in DOC, we've been having problems with the recording device. So the specifics as to the time you're referring to, I'm not sure.
I will yield at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative De La Cruz. Any of the other members? Okay, if I may, then. Through our subpoena duces taken, we were provided copies of the prison activity log. Are you familiar with the log, or this type of log, the prison activity log?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I may be asking questions just to clarify, because they do use codes here, and I am not familiar with, I think these are radio codes, right? Under category, or activity codes. When somebody says 1019, what does that mean?
It's an escort.
Okay.
Chairman, point of clarification.
State your point.
You stated that we have received the Department of Corrections logs. Did the Department of Corrections log come from the Department of Corrections or from another source?
We have logs from the Department of Corrections and also from another source. We have both.
And the reason why I asked that, Mr. Chair, is because the letter dated September 26, 2012 from the Commissioner of Corrections, Mr. Mafnas, indicates after the copies of the subpoena duces tecum that attachment number 1, Department of Corrections log entries in regards to federal detainee Quing Meng Cheng, logbook for booking is missing and cannot be located. So I wish to clarify what that means, and I see a book-like copy of some activities here, but just the on the attachment number 1 title, it clearly spells that the logbook for booking is missing and cannot be located. This is, I believe, a logbook when I believe a federal or any detainee for that matter is booked upon entry into the facility.
There is reference to a logbook for booking that is reportedly missing and cannot be located.
And
but I think
that's my
I understand.
Concern there.
And I don't think any of us here probably knows the difference between a logbook for booking and a prison activity log. But I do have a log that is attached. And if you look at that first log, the attached log on January 8, 2010, at about 2:06 a.m., it does describe escorts out detainee Chen Quing May to booking, and I think the booking station or booking room would probably have another log, right? Maybe that's the log it's referred. The logbook for booking is missing. Is there? Can you explain to us so we can understand? Is there a separate log for the booking room, and is that separate from what's called the prison activity log, or is that one and the same?
That's correct, sir. The booking office has its own booking logbook.
And the prison activity log is a separate log book, or right?
If I'm not mistaken, I think your activity log is from the is that a computer printout?
Yes,
That's
it is.
from the main control.
Okay. Okay. Before we go further, can I just ask, as a SOP, standard operating procedure, do DOC personnel check on, what do you call this, the inmates regularly? Is there some kind of established SOP that every hour or every 2 hours, something like that, you check on the inmates?
Sir, with all due respect, I really do not want to get in detail, in terms of DOC operation now, because I am not with DOC, and probably the procedures and all that stuff, can it be asked to probably Commissioner Muffinus, or I really don't want to indulge into the specifics on how DOC operate, if that's okay with you, Chairman.
I understand you are no longer with the Department of Corrections, and we don't know if maybe they've changed their procedures since you were there. But the only reason I was asking is for my understanding. First of all, I don't have a code or what do you call it? Something that would describe to me what the different codes mean. And without it, it's really difficult to understand what it is in the activity logs, and let me just ask you, since you told me one of the codes, what is 1061, since 1061 seems to be a lot? What is 1061?
I think it's I feel safe with that because DPS and DOC has the same code. 1061 means area secured.
Area secured.
That's correct.
Okay. So if in the activity log somebody wrote down 1061, and for pot number 3, that means probably that they went to pot number 3. It looks okay, everybody's there, and so the area is now secured.
That's correct.
Thank you. Thank you. At least I get that. So, and it looks like at least every 30 minutes or so. Every 30 minutes there appears to be a checking of the individual pods. And when you start from 12 o'clock, they go through the different pods and report 1061. So it's kind of, I think we can infer from the activity log that they go through every 30 minutes or so and check the pods. It does show that on or about August 8th at about 2:06 a.m. The detainee was escorted out to meet with Commissioner Aldan. At about 2:31 a.m., they enter the facility through booking Saliport to meet with Commissioner Aldon. And at about 2:51 a.m. they enter the booking area. And then from there at about 3 o'clock they M/out 62692 to the residence of Governor Fitio. And I believe at 3:08 they 62698 again at point 1 with detainee May and Commissioner Aldon, likewise with Captain Cabrera. Is it okay if you can just enlighten us what 62692 means? Is that a radio code or something?
No, it's not, sir. I believe that's the mileage of the vehicle being used to transport.
Mileage out and mileage in, I see. Thank you for that clarification. So we do have reports that do seem to correspond with each other. I guess my only question, officer or sergeant rather, is you do understand that such a request is sort of unusual, and that such a request, I think you were an employee though of the Department of Corrections at the time.
That's correct.
I haven't seen your self-statement, so I don't have the luxury of reading your what you report happened. So I hope you don't mind. I'm just going to ask if the reason why this incident or you partook in the transporting of the detainee to the governor's residence was simply because you were told or instructed or ordered. Is that a fair statement?
At that time, sir, I was the CERT, equivalent to a SWAT team commander at DOC, and that is the reason why I was a part of this.
I see. So your role there was really for security purposes?
That's correct, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I no longer have any other questions. I understand what your role was, but any other members? While the members are considering their questions, can I ask another question? Sergeant Seman, were you made aware through discussions with your superiors or others the reason for the transportation of this individual?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Just being advised by my counsel to now exercise my Fifth Amendment.
I totally understand, and perhaps I think I should have addressed that to the appropriate individuals, and I think I will withdraw that question. Council, we do not have the testimony, and we have not subpoenaed the former commissioner who was at the time the head of the Department of Corrections. I do understand, though, that there were affidavits that were prepared by the former commissioner. I don't see it in the information, neither from the Department of Corrections nor from the Attorney General's office. Can I kindly ask that you check on that and provide the committee members with a copy of it?
I will look into that and respond with.
Thank you. Thank you. I have no further questions. Do the members have a question? Representative Guerrero.
Just briefly, we didn't subpoena the commissioner at that time?
I think I don't know if you were here, but we did discuss it. The commissioner is not on island. This committee wasn't appropriated any funding to transport any of the witnesses who are off island to our island. And so for those reasons, we opted not to subpoena the former commissioner. But I think, and I think it was made known to us that there was an affidavit, I believe, because there was an investigation into this matter, a federal investigation, I believe. And so there were testimonies through affidavits that were presented. So our good legal counsel from the Attorney General's office will look into this and see if she can get us copies. Are there any further questions to our witness? Representative Sablan.
Thank you, Chairman. Sergeant Seman, thank you for making yourself available. I know you've been here practically all day. Let me just ask, according to the logbook, and I think you clarified that M out means the mileage to the residents. Is that the time that you left the DOC facility to travel to the governor's residence?
I'm still exercising my Fifth, sir.
Okay, and at 308, mileage in 62698 at .1. I'm assuming it's the governor's residence?
Point 1 is the governor's residence.
Point 1 is the Gulf's residence.
That's correct.
And the log says with detainee May and Commissioner Aldon, likewise with Captain Cabrera. I'm assuming that you were involved in the transport of the individuals listed in the logbook?
Well, sir, like I said, I'm exercising my Fifth Amendment right now, and I want to seek
I respect that, Sarge. And you just make the declaration as we proceed and where you feel
Representatives, I apologize. I don't mean this as any sort of a time delay or anything, but my office does not allow me to represent anyone asserting their fifth privileges. So at this time, I've advised the sergeant of his right to individual counsel, and I will need to withdraw at this time.
Okay. Noted. Thank you.
Just before you go, and you have just stated that your office has advised you that anyone pleading the Fifth Amendment, you are not to represent any further. Is that correct?
The Attorney General's office represents officials when they are working in their official capacity, and any type of activity where it may become possibly entangled in criminal activity, we are not allowed to represent that person, and that is why I've been withdrawing today. And because of the way the allegations are stated, where it is possible that these persons may become entangled in allegations of criminal activity and not merely their official capacity as part of the agency, that's why we ethically cannot represent them.
Then can you hold on? Maybe I can ask. Well, the witness has already invoked this Fifth Amendment already, no? So that's already grounds for you to withdraw your...
That's correct. The reason the witness is in part invoking his Fifth Amendment right is the allegation in part 1. In Article 1, where it cites to the Federal Code 18 U.S.C. 752, because those allegations would potentially entangle him in allegations of criminal conduct. It's not just speaking to his role as a corrections officer, but would potentially entangle him in criminal activity. And for that purpose, he is able to invoke his Fifth Amendment. But for that purpose, I also am not allowed to represent him as part of our office.
You know, it almost sounds... You were the one that advised him to plead the Fifth Amendment. Then you're withdrawing because he pleaded the Fifth. It's almost as if you're giving him an excuse to be left out on the code without representation. Representative Sablan.
Chairman, I think the legal counsel's declaration is clear. I think we should go ahead and with that I yield and I Sarge, thank you. I withdraw and I yield. Thank you.
At this point, we no longer have can no longer pose any further questions to Sergeant for the reasons that he is no longer represented by a legal counsel. So as with the other witnesses, Sergeant Seman, the chair would ask that you seek legal representation and that we reschedule this hearing of your testimony to, what is it? Tuesday
at 1.
At 1 p.m.? Tuesday at 1 p.m.
With corrections, correct?
With, I believe there's Captain Georgia Cabrera that would also be testifying. So there would be 2 individuals starting at 1 p.m. I ask that you be present on Monday, Tuesday, October 9th. Tuesday, whatever the date is, at 1 p.m. with the council.
Yes, sir.
And I thank you for your participation and your cooperation.
Thank you, sir. Members.
Before you go, I would appreciate it, Sergeant, if you can just provide I think the Sergeant at Arms already has your point of contact.
Yes, he does.
Thank you very much. Members, do we have anything further to discuss? Vice Speaker?
Chairman, I just would like to find out if we have received any documents from the Office of the U.S. Attorney on this matter. It may be in the packets, but I'm not seeing it.
LA, can you respond?
Yes, you did receive from Alicia Limtiaco, sorry, dated 9/27/12. It's in the packet.
Okay, thank you.
Chair.
Representative Del Cruz?
Just for clarification, the subpoena to the two special agents from the Federal Bureau of Investigations, were they rescheduled?
Sarge, have you been able to communicate with the two special agents or their office? I believe we already received a response from their counsel, but perhaps they have not received it yet. So once we do receive formal notification, we will schedule them accordingly. Thank you. Anything else, members? I believe tomorrow we have Article 9, the CUC, and we have a host of witnesses to testify. Chairman Torres is also the chairman of PUTC, who has also been asked to, by the speaker, rather assigned by the speaker to conduct a hearing on the same matter. Just wondering if there's any, if you're planning to hold your hearing separately?
Chair, I believe that the GO chairman and I jointly informed the speaker that we will join this committee for, instead of having separate. I think what the JGO chairman wants is so that they are into one committee and interviews and questions.
Okay.
Did you honor? Yes, Devapan?
Actually, he did request, but I could not respond because I haven't consulted with the members yet. So that's why I'm raising this issue now. Representative Sablan.
I think my only concern, Chair, is whether it is proper, knowing that their presence were here on behalf of the subpoenas issued by the committee, this committee, and whether they are obligated to answer questions posed by members of another committee. That's my only concern.
So noted. There is another matter. The one little difference between this committee and the PUTC and JGO is this committee cannot subpoena or ask the governor for his testimony, simply because it could could be considered double jeopardy. I think we discussed that earlier, and I don't know if the PUTC or the JGO is considering asking the governor to testify If he is being asked to testify, then I do not recommend that we have a joint meeting.
It's your call, sir.
Are you planning, or you or JJO planning to ask the...
I don't know yet. I'm waiting for delegate. I will send them upon to,